Hi, boys and girls. Before we start today's math lesson, I'd like you to be sure that you have the following materials with you. Your math workbook, which will be starting on page 613, a pencil, whiteboard, marker, and your clock. If you need those materials, please continue to go and get those while you pause this video. Okay, so today we are going to work on time to the hour and half hour. All right. And we are working to answer the essential question of how do I determine length and time? Okay, so let's get started with our first question. All right, I'd like you to look at each of these clocks and say the time out loud. Ready? Number 1, 4:30, very good. Number 2, 12:30, very good. 3, 9:30, and number 4, 1 o'clock. Okay, good job. Now let's take a look. What time does the clock show? Does it show 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, or 3:30? Pause and decide on your answer. Okay, and the answer is 1:30 because as you can see, the hour hand is between the 1 and 2, which means it has just come off of the 1. All right, let's go to our next problem here. They say draw lines to connect the times on the analog and digital clock. Okay, so I'd like you can look and say, we're going to call this clock to make it easier for us. All right, this clock is going to be known as number 1. This one is number 2. This clock will be known as number 3. And this clock is number 4. So what I'd like you to do, okay, since I am unable to have you come up and draw lines to connect, when I say a time, I'd like you to put the number 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay, to answer that. Which clock shows 10:30? 10:30. Is it clock 1, clock 2, clock 3, or clock 4? Okay, which clock shows 12 o'clock? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Which clock shows 12:30? 1, 2, 3, or 4. And of course, pause at any time that you want to stop and really take a look at the clocks. And last, which clock shows 6 o'clock? 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay, so now you have your answers written. So the clock that shows 10:30 is number 4, because 10:30 is also 10:30. Okay, which clock shows 12 o'clock? Clock number 3. So that one you could have written the number 3. So far you've written number 4, then number 3. Which clock shows 12:30? Number 1. Okay, so that means that 6 o'clock should be clock number 2. Okay, good job. All right, let's continue. All right, here we go. We are going to go to our workbook, okay? And if you need to turn to page 613, all right, pause and find that page. All right, so a class went to the library at 1:30. Find the analog and digital clocks in the picture. Okay. Show 1:30 on the analog clock. Show 1:30 on the digital clock. Pause and complete those things. Okay, so here's our analog clock. They would like us to show 1:30. Okay, so 1:30, the hour hand is pointing towards the 1 or just slightly off the 1. So I like to start from here and go so I don't draw too fast and crazy or go past the number. And then to show 30, I go to the 6 and it touches the 6 and I go straight up to the middle. Okay? So now, how are you going to show 1:30 on your digital clock? Right? You're going to write a 1 because the hour goes there. And then you're going to put 30 minutes. 3 and 0. Okay? So that's how you show the time that library starts. Okay, let's look at the see and show. You can tell time to the hour and half hour. Now, we've already talked about starting here, okay? And you've been great because we've gone over that 1 hour is 60 minutes and they counted around to 60 by fives, okay? And the 9, as we've said, is the left of the colon and the minutes are to the right. On an analog clock here, we start at the 12 and then go down to the 6 to get to half hour or 30 minutes. And we said the half comes from half of the clock, okay? And that shows it went halfway around. So half of 60 is 30. And as a digital, the hour's to the left, 30 minutes is on the right. Okay, so we've gone over that a number of times, and you've always been very good at identifying those things. So good for you. All right, so now let's look at what we're going to work on together. So they would like us to, whoops, sorry about that. They would like us to, you can use your movable clock, okay, to help. And then you can draw. So it says, draw the minute hand to show the time and write the time on the digital clock. Okay, so 11:30. Where would the minute hand go to show 30? Think about that. Okay, so yes, it goes from the 6, because it's half, up to the middle there. That's 11:30. And where does the minute hand go to show 5:30? Draw it there. Now write the time digitally on the clocks. Pause the video to do that and come back and check your work. Okay, so there is 11:30 and 5:30. All right, let's look at the next one. Okay, they want to know, what is the difference between an analog clock and a digital clock? How is the hour shown with an analog clock? That's right, it has a short hour hand. How are the minutes shown? A longer minute hand. How about the digital clock? That's right, the hour is shown to the left of the colon, and what's shown to the right? The minutes. Okay, good job. Okay, now for on my own, you are going to, all right, here they show it already written in, okay? But here, you are going to write the digital times right here, okay? And pause and complete numbers 3 and 4. And there are your times. Okay, number 5 and number 6. Draw the minute hand and write the digital time. There you go. And number 7 and 8. They want you to write 2:30 on number 7 and write 6 o'clock on the green clock for number 8. Pause and solve. Here are your answers. 2:30 and 6 o'clock is 6:00. Okay. Okay, now let's look and solve. And they want you to write the time on the clock. The hour hand is between the 1 and 2. The minute hand is on 6. What time is it? Draw the hands on the clock. The hour hand is between 1 and 2. The minute hand is on 6. What time is it? And draw the hands on the clock. Pause now. Okay, here we go. What time is that? 1:30 or 1:30. Very good. Okay, number 10. The time on the clock is 1 hour after 2 o'clock. 1 hour after. What time is it? Pause and write the time. Okay, the time is 3 o'clock. Good job. How many minutes after the hour does this clock show? Well, let's look. All right. The minute hand is on the 6, so how many minutes is that? Okay. There are 30 minutes after the hour. The time, I know they didn't ask, but I'd like to finish it because that just says after that hour. The time is 10:30. Okay? All right, boys and girls. We will continue to practice hour and half hour, and we will have practice during our math groups. And if you have any other questions, you can ask them then. All right, boys and girls? And if you need anything to go over, certainly listen to the video again or save your questions for when we can work together. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.